Greetings, I'm Zach, and today I wanted to go through a couple of pickups that I made during the week. Now, to give a bit of context to this, I have been going through a bit of a rough point at this particular moment, and I came across the, well, coincidentally, I was going through town, and I thought, you know what, to cheer myself up, I would pick up a few things from the likes of HMV, CEX, etc, etc. Now, in this particular occasion, it's actually quite interesting because I did something I don't think I've ever actually done before, and I have purchased one Blu-ray, or 4K, could be 4K, from a different distributor, completely off the cuff. I didn't realise this until actually getting home and taking a look and unboxing these, which is actually really interesting, and I found that quite interesting because obviously the distributors that I like obviously release the things that I like, and subsequently I collect them, and I did that very unintentionally. But anyway, before I get too off track, first off I wanted to say that, or maybe set a challenge is probably a better way of doing it. Have you ever encountered this scenario where you go out to buy some physical media and you end up coming back with one from every distributor, like a release? I don't know, is that like a challenge that we could maybe talk about, or maybe instigate? I don't know. If you have ever done that, I would love to know, and maybe we come up with a name for it. What could we call it? We could call it, I don't know, a pentathlon challenge? No, that's just doing a sports thing, isn't it? Distributhon? Yeah, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. Like, by picking up one release from every distributor that you like and basically sharing what you think that is, or what you've got. That would be quite a cool thing. So maybe if you comment in the comments, that would be great. So, on with what I actually picked up on the day. So initially, starting off with HMV, of course, just to, check the market, see the new releases. So I started off with my 88 films collection, by the way, Asia collection, should I say. To Kill a Mastermind. Now, I had my eyes on this title for a while, and if you can't see here, I've literally got the first 36 of the 88 films Asia collection, which I'm pretty proud of, because when I started collecting those, they weren't the easiest things to come by, especially the likes of, where is it? The One-Armed Swordsman, and indeed Flying Guillotine, and probably something else I'm forgetting by now. There's a lot of titles there. But I honestly thought that line had basically finished with the 36th release, which was Flying Guillotine Part 2. Now, obviously recently they've continued that line. I did go on to get Shadow Boxing, otherwise known as the Spiritual Boxer 2, which I believe is release number 41. Obviously reversible spine, which is pretty cool. So, To Kill a Mastermind. Premise is the fact that obviously an evil kung fu gang has they don't know who basically the main villain is organising this kind of evil group of kung fu masters and things. It really does sound quite an interesting plot, and it does actually promise a lot on the martial arts front, which is really cool. Now, obviously I'm just going to brush over these particular movies in this particular video, but I can do an unboxing should you so wish in the future. What I will say is that there are some really funky art cards in here, so stay tuned for an unboxing of this potentially in the future if you'd like it. So, moving on to release number 2. Now, this was a title I had been looking for again a great deal of time, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, the second sight release of Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell, the last Hammer horror Frankenstein movie starring Peter Cushing, and a rather creepy, weird, Neanderthal Frankenstein monster, which is pretty cool. Now, interesting side note here. I love my side notes, don't I? Obviously, previous video I did do an unboxing and review of Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter on 4K. Now, considering I got that, I was kind of at a kind of a bit of a crossroads when it came to this particular box set, which is indeed very beaten up, starring Frankenstein the Monster from Hell and Captain Kronos on DVD. So I did kind of want to replace the DVD of Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell, which thankfully I managed to track down in CEX. Now, if you look at the prices for this, brand new, around and about, they are looking, top estimate, around £52. I think the best you can get is around the kind of 30, 34 mark regarding this particular Blu-ray box set. Obviously it has art cards and stuff in it as well, which is really cool. But I got this for the grand price of, you'd never guess, very good price. I wasn't expecting to have to pay this. It was £22, which, for what it actually includes, I could deem a bit steep. I can do a little unboxing for you in the future, but to be fair, this was one I was looking for to get at some point, and this is the best price I've found for this particular release, so I just snatched at the chance to grab it for the price that I did. And obviously we do have the Captain Kronos from the previous video. They can go quite nicely together, which does leave me, however, with the little conundrum of this particular DVD set. Now, obviously, there is some damage on the front here. It is a previous CEX release. And ironically, actually, Frankenstein the Monster from Hell and Captain Kronos did experience on their kind of upgrade, shall we say. They did experience some damage. On Frankenstein the Monster from Hell, by the way, it was just the outer kind of bit of paper that was, you wouldn't call it a J card, like the little kind of plastic thing that says all the information on it. It didn't have much information on it. Anyway, it's upstairs in a box to keep safe because I don't really like keeping them stuck to these because that looks quite nice. But anyway, in a similar fashion, kind of keeping on with the upgrades, I'm going to have to sell this now. I can sell this. I've been looking to replace it for a while, and suddenly the day arises which I can chuck this on eBay, which is really fantastic. So if you're wanting a DVD version of Frankenstein the Monster from Hell and Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter, check out my eBay page, and you never know, you might be able to pick it up for a good price. Fun fact, in a similar fashion, I did pick up my next one. So obviously we've covered so far 88 films and Second Sight films. So the third one of the Distributhon is actually an Arrow Video. Shock horror, probably my highest rated distributor when it comes to this type of physical media. So in this particular one, another one I've been seeking out was indeed the Bloodthirsty trilogy. Now, you may have seen in a previous video that I did unbox from a giant big haul video that I did, the 3 movies on DVD. So they, much like Frankenstein the Monster from Hell and Captain Kronos, can go on eBay as well if you're looking to check those out. Because I did get the Bloodthirsty trilogy from Arrow Video, which is absolutely fantastic. Like, quality-wise, it is just going to be completely outstrip the DVD versions by far. And again, I did pick this up at a really good price. I think £10, considering it's got the slip, cover, and all the jazz and things. Oh, it's got the reversible cover just there. That's all you're getting for now, anyway, until I do a proper unboxing of it. Wow, I've got a lot of unboxings to do. But that was cool. £10. Another one to add into the mix. So, with 3 distributors down, 2 more to go. And moving on was a distributor that I haven't got many of, but I'm looking to maybe expand this particular line of things collection-wise. It was a title I had not seen or even heard of. It was literally a case of I was browsing around and I saw it and I thought, okay, that looks interesting. And then I looked at the price, and considering it was a limited edition box set, I really couldn't say no. And that is Meat Cleaver Massacre from 101 Films. Look at that, number 32 of the Black Label line. I do have a couple more up there. We've got Prom Night, Tammy and the T-Rex, Spookies, and the Sword and the Sorcerer up there. But this is number 32 of that particular line of things. Now, it's got bits and pieces in there. I can do an unboxing. Please let me know if you want it. The most shocking thing about this is probably not the price, which was very good. It was £8. But the most shocking thing about this that I discovered was the fact that it's actually got, of all people, Christopher Lee in it, which I did not expect to discover, especially reading the back of the box. Horror legend Christopher Lee from the Wicker Man Lord of the Rings trilogy stars in this pulse-pounding film where revenge is best served in cold blood. Now, oddly on this, it does seem to make a lot of references to the occult and things like that. Now, when it says Meat Cleaver Massacre, that doesn't really give that kind of vibe at all, to be fair. So it does kind of encourage me to kind of dive into this one at some point. Wow, it's got 2 different cuts of the movie. Again, considering this is £8 with booklet and things, just really a really good deal there. I'm glad I picked this up from TX. And I mean, look at that front cover art. It's like a freaky hand with faces and knives on it. Cool stuff. I'm happy I picked this up. Can you recommend this movie? I would love to know if this is actually worth my time. But for now, it's going to sit snug on the shelf because I do have a lot of movies to crack on through. Now, final movie we've had Second Sight, we've had Arrow Video, we've had 101 Films, and we've had 88 Films, of course. Which leaves, what could it be? What could it be? It could be Criterion, it could be PH Indicator Collection, but no, in this particular instance, it is Eureka! Eureka, woo! Eureka! Did I really just say that? I did. Okay. So, again, I haven't got many of these, but much like 88 Films, they do seem to delve a lot into the Asian martial arts side of things. Now, this is slightly different in tone to the likes of To Kill a Mastermind, because obviously this is set in like the past. Whereas this one is set in a more contemporary kind of time setting. And that is Yes, Madam. Now, I do believe this is the first of a particular line of kind of martial arts, action, policey kind of movies, starring Cynthia Rothrock and Michelle Yeoh. I think this was literally the debut for both of those great like martial arts icons here. Now, I think in that particular instance, this is going to be a really good one to kind of kickstart my collecting for this kind of what was it called? I think it was Girls with Guns. It's like a subgenre of like the crime, thriller, action, drama kind of side of things, which is really nice. Obviously, it's got a martial arts flair in here, which is really cool, and I am looking forward to seeing it within like a more modern context as opposed to like the historical stuff, which like I've seen quite a lot now, and I really do like that. But it will be interesting to see how that translates into... When did this come out? I'm not entirely sure. Interesting. It was actually produced by Sammo Hung. Interesting. Obviously from martial arts fame. 1985. So it's a classic mid-80s action flick. So, reading a little bit at the back, it does kick off the In the Line of Duty series. I believe in this particular line, all released by Eureka, by the way, that there are 4. Now, comparative-wise, I was looking to either delve into this In the Line of Duty series, or it's going to bug me now. I'm not entirely sure what it was. What was it? If I just go to my Letterboxd account, I might have searched it. Inspector Wears Skirts. Now, that particular series I thought was going to be along the same kind of lines, but actually reading a bit deeper into that, it seemed to have add a more of a comedy element, which I wasn't expecting, but it kind of compared it to the likes of Police Academy in certain bits, which it really depends on how kind of the comedy lands, I think, in that particular context. So perhaps based upon my watching of this, that might encourage me to track those down, because let's face it, when it comes to my Eureka collection here, I really don't have that many regarding the martial arts stuff. I've got Mr. Vampire kind of branching into like the horror side of things as well. The Shaolin plot. This really is like the moderner? Wow, that's a really weird way of saying it, isn't it? Release of this. Now, Eureka, unlike a couple of the other distributors, do tend to be on the pricier side, and I do find myself not buying them as often for that particular reason, mainly because I just don't have that much money to spend on this kind of thing. But essentially, special features wise, it is packing a lot, which some of them don't. But on this particular instance, I did get it for £10 from CEX, which is nice. It's a nice way to round off this particular video. So if I just stack these up now, To Kill a Mastermind, Frankenstein, and The Monster from Hell, Bloodthirsty Trilogy, and Meat Cleaver Massacre. I believe, like totals wise, considering these are all on Blu-ray, the totals were around the £50 mark, if I'm not mistaken, to get all these. Now, considering that is basically the equivalent of 2 brand new 4Ks, bog standard edition, no special editions there, this features, in all cases, they are a limited special edition of some descript, which is really nice. Which is really nice that I managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 movies for the equivalent of 2 on 4K in this particular instance. And these were movies that, sure, I wasn't actively looking for, but it certainly achieved its goal in cheering me up after the day I'd had in this particular instance. So, obviously, going back to the challenge of Distributhon, if you've got any instances of you collecting like a selection from different distributors, please let me know in the comments. That would be absolutely fantastic. And again, if you would like to see a unboxing of any of these, or anything you can see on the shelves in this particular frame, I will happily do so. And of course, do not forget that I will be chucking these ones on eBay should you feel inclined to take a look at those, because at the moment I do have quite a big selection of duplicates on eBay that obviously I would love to pass on to fellow collectors, because I hope you would appreciate them as much as I do. So in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please like and subscribe to the channel and comment below any suggestions of further videos you'd like to see.